The principal thrust of this new administration is to consolidate on the achievements of the last 4 years, correct the lapses inevitable in all human endeavors, and tackle the new challenges the country is faced with, and chart a bold plan for transforming Nigeria. Fellow Nigerians, I have had the privilege of free education from primary school to staff college to war college. I received my formative education in Katsina and Kaduna, and my higher education in England, India, and the United States. I have worked and served in Kaduna, Lagos, Abeokuta, Makadi, Port Harcourt, Maiduguri, Ibadan, Jos, and finally here in Abuja. Throughout my adult life, I have been a public servant. I have no other career but public service. I know no service but public service. I was involved at close quarters in the struggle to keep Nigeria one. I can therefore do no more than dedicate the rest of my life to work for the unity of Nigeria and the upliftment of Nigerians. In 2003, 2002 and 3 campaigns and elections, I traveled by road to 34 of the 36 states of the Federation. This year, I traveled by air to all 36 states of the Federation. Before enduring my time in the armed forces and in government, I have interacted with Nigerians of all ages and persuasions and different shades of opinion over a period of more than 50 years. And my firm belief is that our people, above all, want to live in peace and harmony with their fellow Nigerians. They desire opportunity to better themselves in a safe environment. Most of the instances of intercommunal and interreligious strife and violence were and still are as a result of sponsorship or incitement by ethnic, political, or religious leaders hoping to benefit by exploiting our divisions and fault lines, thereby weakening our country. And our country, Nigeria, is a great country. According to United Nations estimates, our population will rise to 411 million by 2050, making us the third most populous nation on earth, behind only China and India. We have water, arable land, forests, oil and gas, and vast quantities of solid minerals. We are blessed with an equable climate. However, the bulk of our real wealth lies in agriculture, livestock, forestry, and mining. We possess all the ingredients of a major economic power on the world stage. What we require is the will to get our acts together, and our strength is in our people, our youth, our culture, our resilience, our ability to succeed despite the odds. A huge responsibility before rests on this and succeeding administration to develop, harness, and fulfill our enormous potential into force to be reckoned with globally. Thus far, we Nigerians can be proud of our history since independence in 1960. We have contributed to United Nations peacekeeping responsibilities all over the world. We have stabilized Liberia, Sierra Leone, Ivory Coast. And 2 years ago, we prevented the Gambia from degenerating into anarchy. Without Nigerian influence and resources, the liberation of Angola, Mozambique, Namibia, Zimbabwe, and ultimately South Africa would have come at great cost. This fact has been attested by none other than the late Nelson Mandela himself. Elsewhere, Nigeria is the big brother to our neighbors. We are the shock absorber of the West African sub-region, the bulwark of ECOWAS and Lake Chad Basin Commission. We can therefore be proud to be Nigerians. We must continue to be good neighbors and good citizens. At home, we have been successful in forging a nation from different ethnicities and language groups. Our evolution and integration into one nation continues apace. When, therefore, we came to office in 2015, after a decade of struggle, we identified 3 cardinal and existential challenges our country faced and made them our campaign focus, namely security, economy, and fighting corruption. None but the most partisan will dispute that in the last 4 years, we have made solid progress in addressing these challenges. When I took the oath of office on 29th May 2015, insecurity reigned. Apart from occupying 18 local governments in the northeast, Boko Haram could at will attack any city, including the federal capital, could threaten any institution, including bombing the United Nations building and police headquarters in Abuja. Admittedly, some of the challenges still remain in kidnappings, banditry in some rural areas. The great difference between 2015 and today is that we are meeting these challenges with much greater support to the security forces in terms of money, equipment, and improved local intelligence. We are meeting these challenges with superior strategy, firepower, and resolve. In face of these challenges, our government elected by the people in 2015 and re-elected in March has been mapping our policies, measures, and laws to maintain our unity and at the same time lift the bulk of our people out of poverty and onto the road to prosperity. This task is by no means unattainable. China has done it. India has done it. Indonesia has done it. Nigeria can do it. These are all countries characterized by huge burdens of population. China and Indonesia succeeded under authoritarian regimes. India succeeded in a democratic setting. We can do it. With leadership and sense of purpose, we can lift 100 million Nigerians out of poverty in 10 years. Following the 60% drop in oil prices between 2015 and 2016, through monetary and fiscal measures, we stimulated economic growth, curbed inflation, and shored up our external reserves. We now have witnessed 8 quarters of positive growth in the economy, and our GDP is expected to grow by 2.7% this year. Furthermore, our external reserves have risen to 45 billion United States dollars, enough to finance over 9 months of current import commitments. This administration is laying the foundation and taking bold steps in transforming our country and liberating our people from the shackles of poverty. First, we will take steps to integrate rural economies to the national economic grid by extending access to small-scale credits and inputs to rural farmers, credit to rural micro businesses, and opening up many critical feeder roads. Secondly, for small-scale enterprises in towns and cities, we shall expand facilities currently available so that we can continue to encourage and support domestic production of basic goods and reduce our reliance of imported goods, as I will outline later. For the next 4 years, we will remain committed to improving the lives of people by consolidating efforts to address these key issues, as well as emerging challenges of climate change, resettling displaced communities, and dealing decisively with the few flashes of insecurity across the country and the impacts of food scarcity and regional stability. We are not daunted by the enormity of the task ahead. Instead, we are revived by this new mandate to work collaboratively with state and local governments, legislators, the diplomatic corps, and all Nigerians to rebuild and reposition our country as a heartbeat and reference point for our continent. Fellow Nigerians, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, despite the enormous resources pledged to infrastructure development these past 4 years, there remains the urgent need to modernize our roads and bridges, electricity grid, ports, and rail system. B, whilst agriculture and industrial output have recovered since the recession, we are more committed than ever to work with the private sector to improve productivity and accelerate economic growth. The Manufacturing Purchasing Managers Index, which is the gauge of manufacturing activity in the country, has arisen from 26 consecutive months since March 2017, indicating continuous growth and expansion in our manufacturing sector. It still takes too long for goods to clear at our seaports, and the roads leading to them are congested. It still takes too long for routine and regulatory approvals to be secured. These issues affect our productivity, and we are committed to addressing them permanently. E, our government will continue to reduce social and economic inequality through targeted social investment programs, education, technology, and improved information. F, our social intervention programs are a model for other nations. Together with state governments, we provide millions of school children with meals in primary schools, microloans to traders and entrepreneurs, skills and knowledge acquisition support to graduates, and of course, conditional cash transfers to the poorest and most vulnerable.